Zenless Zone Zero fans are up in arms over censorship. Zenless Zone Zero censorship, was this necessary, Hoyo? Zenless Zone Zero is censored. Zenless Zone Zero's second beta tones down jiggle physics to the dismay of players. Zenless Zone Zero got hit with censorship. Zenless Zone Zero players demand Hoyoverse revert Nicole's censorship. As you can tell, there are a lot of players that are very upset with Zenless Zone Zero right now, and that upset is entirely warranted. What you'll see on screen right now is the target of all of this aggression. We have one instance of censorship here. There are numerous instances of censorship present. Censorship is something that we as a community do not like. We as a community do not accept. I don't like, nor do I accept as a person and as a content creator. I think inhibiting freedom of speech and expression is not acceptable. I feel like it should not be tolerated. I know there are people that are going to disagree with that. There are people that do disagree with that. They think censorship is good and they are welcome to have that opinion, just like I'm welcome to have this opinion. Nicole here is the first example I'm going to give of censorship and why people are upset with Zenless Zone Zero right now. On the left, we have Nicole before. On the right, we have Nicole after. Before was during closed beta 1. After was during closed beta 2. Now, before I talk about what was changed, because it isn't very evident just looking at the before and after here, I do want to note the before character model looked good. The after character model looks smoother, looks more polished, looks higher quality. The clothing looks higher quality. You can just take a moment here and look at her shorts. On the right in the after, they're more three-dimensional. The little white bits of fur down the bottom are more three-dimensional. They come more off her actual outfit. They have better shading. Her character overall has better shading. Her skin color is smoother. Her eyes look better. Her hair is smoother. It is better textured. Everything about the after looks better with the exception of one thing, and that is the reduction of her plot. The plot in the game has suffered a major reduction. Now, I'm okay with the additional clothing there. I don't think that's a major issue to me because you can pretty much see roughly the same amount, but there was a very noticeable reduction in one certain area of her body. And this on the left was what we were presented with. We were shown Nicole like this for the promotional material of the game during closed beta 1. And what we ultimately ended up with was Nicole like this in promotional material and in closed beta 2, and only displayed like this after the closed beta started. We were still shown Nicole like the before up until the introduction and the start of the beta test. Not only was she used in the before outfit for promotional material, but they also had her in the before outfit for events that they held, Anime Expo 2023, when they went over to the Tokyo Game Show in Japan. So they were still they were still giving us this illusion of what Nicole was, which is very disingenuous of them as a company, because they were lying. That's the long and short of it. They were lying to us. They were trying to create hype based off of a character we thought was in the game, and ultimately the character that was in the game was different and not what we expected. Now again, if they had shown us, if they had given us Nicole as the after model, I would have been fine with it. I'm sure many of us would have been fine with it because Nicole after looks great. Her character model is an improvement over the before, with the single exception of her plot. Now, this was not the only thing that was altered. As you can tell, the animations were also altered. As you can see in this tweet right here, she had a very specific set of animations before, and the animations look great. They were very expressive. She moved a lot. She's very fluid. The after, however, very different. Not only is she more stiff, not only does she not move much, there's also no real actual movement. The physics are much more grounded, admittedly much more realistic, sure, but at the same time, they are drastically altered. Now, the before looked good. It really did. The before gave her the illusion of having this certain personality that is just not present when you look at her here. She looks like she has a different personality. She looks completely different. And I think that is just kind of sad to see. I think the animations before looked great. if they weren't going to keep those animations in the final version, if they wanted her to act like this and to express herself like this, then this would have been acceptable. I think she looks great. I think how she's moving, the fluidity of her movement, everything is perfectly fine. I wouldn't have batted an eyelid. I'm sure most of you wouldn't have said anything at all. You would have looked at her and been like, wow, that is a great camera angle. Good on you, cameraman. I think the final result here looks great. I just think when compared to the before, it is vastly inferior and very disappointing, because we don't want censorship in our games. We don't like censorship in our games. Having censorship, censoring anything, censoring Nicole specifically here, and censoring just her animations sets a precedent for the game that allows them to not only make additional alterations to existing characters, but to also alter future characters and future content to suit China's whack job fucking agenda. Another character, Nekomata here, was censored. Now, this censorship is much more minor. As you can tell, her shorts were lengthened. And like, let's just be honest here, the before and the after are both good images, both good outfits. We have characters that have shorts like the after picture here in other Hoyo games. The issue here isn't the length of the shorts. The issue here is the fact that the length of the shorts were changed from what they were during the first closed beta, and her character was censored. That is just never okay. That is never acceptable. Again, if we were presented with the after before we got presented with the before, or if we were never presented with the before and instead just presented with the after, nobody would have cared, because her shorts are perfectly fine. There is no issue with them whatsoever. She looks great in the after, but they still censored her. And that is the root of the criticism. That is the root of players' concern. Players are upset because Hoyo was being disingenuous in what they were presenting us. They were advertising the game with Nicole as she was before, even though they had already censored her. They were lying to us about that. Who knows what else they were lying to us about? Now, do I think that we should be lashing out at Hoyo? No. Do I think we should be acting like fucking children and bashing them and other people who disagree with censorship, that think the censorship is okay, that think the outfits are perfectly fine? No, they're welcome to those opinions. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being okay with having the before or the after. We don't need to lash out at other members of the community. That just makes you look like a child. There is a correct way to go about doing this. That is not how you do it. There's nothing wrong with letting your voice be heard, because while Hoyo are unlikely to listen and make any alterations to restore previous character models, there's always a chance that they might. So think about what you want to say, collect yourself and your thoughts, and at least try to act a little bit more like an adult here. I don't like the censorship. I don't agree with what was done, but at the same time, I'm also not going to sit here and call other people fucking idiots or incels or anything else because they're okay with it. I'm not going to do the same to Hoyo. I think this is a bad thing to do. I think it sets a bad precedent, but at the same time, I can't change it, and they're gonna do what they want to do anyway. They're a multi-billion-dollar company, and they're not gonna change. Now, if Zenless isn't a game that you're at all interested in, absolutely no problem. I got you covered 2 different videos on screen right now that might be of more interest to you.